This evening, Hitman and ex-husband sentenced to jail for orchestrating murder of Babita Sarju. Fatal motorcycle accident in Bartica leaves one dead and one critically injured. Bounty Hall Housewife found with narcotics at home amid a police operation. In the region, AMNESTY investigates 46 cases of violations during Peru protests, and internationally, growing concerns over China's approach to Taiwan. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Updates. I am Babita. Thank you for joining us. First up, justice was served for the Sarju family after more than a decade of litigation and court hearings. On Thursday, Justice Simone Morris Ramlal sentenced Shrahanand Narain and Daral Ponto for the 2010 murder of Narain's reputed wife, Babita Sarju. Narain was sentenced to 22.5 years, while Ponto was handed 18.5 years. Narain had admitted to paying Ponto $100,000 to murder Sarju, and according to reports, the two plotted to kill her at a meeting in October 2010. They lured Sarju to the National Cultural Center of Georgetown, where Ponto strangled her, covered her body with a blanket, and drove with Narain to his C4 Street Campbellville home, where they buried her body in a hole. They later reported that she was missing. The case was cracked in 2016 when detectives recovered skeletal remains near Narain's backyard. Narain and Ponto denied the offense initially, but they later changed their pleas and admitted to the crime. At the sentencing hearing, Sarju's mother addressed the court saying she hopes justice is served for her daughter. The judge noted that Narain executed his plan to kill Sarju in the presence of their 4-year-old son and sentenced him for orchestrating a plan to kill his reputed wife and then conceal her body. The judge started Narain's sentence at 25 years, then added 5 years for the prevalence of violence against women. 7.5 years was deducted for Narain's early guilty plea, leaving him with 22.5 years jail sentence. The judge started Ponto's sentence at 20 years, but added 5 years for the nature of the offense. 6.5 years was deducted for his early guilty plea, leaving him with an 18.5-year jail sentence. The prosecutor has since informed the court of the state's intention to appeal. Also making the headlines, police are investigating a fatal accident at 4th Avenue and 5th Street, Bartica, on Thursday, February 16, 2023. The accident involved a motorcycle driven by 26-year-old David Huggins of Half Mile Potaro Road, Bartica, along with 23-year-old pillion rider Felicia Lewis of Mora Camp, Bartica, and a motor car driven by 66-year-old Brian Pearson, a taxi driver of Monogripo Hill, Bartica. According to the police report, around 4 p.m., the motor car was proceeding south along the eastern side of 4th Avenue, Bartica, and failed to stop at the stop sign on 5th Street. The motorcycle was proceeding east along the northern side of 5th Street at a fast rate of speed and collided with the right side front portion of the motor car. As a result, the motorcyclist and pillion rider fell to the roadway and received injuries to their head and bodies. The injured duo were taken to the Bartica Regional Hospital, where they were seen and examined by a doctor who pronounced the female pillion rider dead on arrival. The motorcyclist was admitted as a patient in the male surgical ward suffering from head trauma and lacerations on his body. His condition is regarded as critical. The driver of the motor car was breathalyzed and the results read negative for alcohol. Police, however, served a notice of intended prosecution on the driver, who is presently in custody as further investigations are ongoing. Let's switch gears now to talk about International Energy Conference and Expo. Nearly 1,000 participants attended the event this year at the Marriott Hotel in Georgetown. The conference included more than 60 speakers who discussed various topics related to the theme of harnessing energy for development. Vikram Bharat, the Minister of Natural Resources, declared the conference a great success and commended local companies for their competitiveness with regional and international counterparts. During his speech on the third day of the conference, Minister Bharat highlighted the ongoing demand for fossil fuels despite the environmental risk. He noted that the demand is driven by population growth, industrialization, and affordability. According to Bharat, the world's population is expected to grow by 2 billion people by 2050, requiring 20% more energy than is currently being used. However, the minister also emphasized the need to cut down on fossil fuel demand and transition to renewable energy sources to decrease supply. He pointed out that the world is already moving towards renewable energy and that Guyana is committed to maintaining its high environmental standards. Barat stressed that climate change is a real threat and that all governments and policymakers are responsible for reducing emissions and safeguarding forests. The conference provided a platform for experts and policymakers to discuss energy-related issues. It highlighted the need for a transition to renewable energy sources to mitigate the risk of climate change. The Minister of Natural Resources reaffirmed Guyana's commitment to maintaining its environmental credentials while exploring and developing its natural resources, sustainability, and responsibility. Stick around when we return. Bounty Hall Housewife found with narcotics at home amid police operation, and GCOM reopens symbol approval process for local government elections.
It's Clearance Mash Sale, where you get 25 to 50% off jeans, jerseys, short pants, crop tops, sneakers, slippers for both men and women, and a whole lot more. MASH is back, and our MASH sale is bigger than ever at Clearance on Wednesday, February 22nd. Clearance, always keeping you in style.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Give your home or office some shine. Fortune Investment Company. We provide reliable commercial and residential professional cleaning services in Guyana. We clean homes and commercial offices. Other services offered are floor care and tile polishing, interior auto detailing services, power washing, weeding and cleaning, and carpet, couch, and mattress cleaning. We are committed to keeping your homes and offices squeaky clean. Call us now at 592-689-7558 or 592-639-6365 or visit us at 3430 Jackson North Rumville, Georgetown, Guyana. Fortune Investment Company. When we say clean, we mean spotless.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fractured my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brickdam and White Castle Fish Shop. Be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Sooner or later you will have another power failure. Are you prepared for the next blackout? Some essential equipment such as security cameras, lights, internet, gate motors, and water pumps may stop working. How can you prevent the next blackout? InverterTech has an affordable solution for you. A strong UPS system which uses the latest inverter and solar battery technology to prevent blackout. We smartly calculate your average power demand so you don't spend more than you need to. Call 223-2233 for more information.
Welcome back. Officers from Regional Police Division 2 arrested 40-year-old Brenda Charles, a housewife from the Bounty Hall Expo coast, after she was found to be in possession of 451 grams of cocaine in her home on Thursday. The police officers acted on information received and went to the home of the woman and informed her that they were there to search for narcotics and unlawful articles, to which she agreed. Charles immediately went to her sofa and took out a white and red ceramic plate containing a quantity of whitish rock-like substance suspected to be cocaine and handed it over to the police officers. She further picked up a black plastic bag containing 39 pieces of whitish rock-like substance, also suspected to be cocaine, and handed it over as well. The woman was told of the offense committed and cautioned, to which she admitted to ownership. She was arrested and escorted to the Anna Regina police station, where the substances were tested as cocaine and weighed a total of 451 grams. The narcotics was marked, sealed and lodged at the Anna Regina police station, and Charles was placed in custody pending charges. In other news, the Ghana Elections Commission has reopened the process to provide a further opportunity for the submission of applications for approval of symbols for local government elections. In this regard, March 1st, 2023 has been set as the date by which a printed and electronic version of the symbol must be submitted to the Commission. Submissions can be made directly to the office of the chairman at 41 High and Cowan Street, or it can be submitted via email. Political parties, voluntary groups, and individuals who have already applied for symbols for the upcoming local government elections and who would have received notifications that their symbols were approved are not required to reapply. Political parties, voluntary groups, and individual candidates are required to submit their representative list of candidates on nomination day, accompanied by the relevant pre-approved symbol. In this regard, political parties, voluntary groups, and individual candidates are advised that their list would not be accepted without a pre-approved symbol. Don't go away after the break. Chad, a place of refuge for hundreds of thousands of African refugees, and growing concerns over China's approach to Taiwan.
Sooner or later you will have another power failure. Are you prepared for the next blackout? Some essential equipment such as security cameras, lights, internet, gate motors, and water pumps may stop working. How can you prevent the next blackout? InverterTech has an affordable solution for you. A strong UPS system which uses the latest inverter and solar battery technology to prevent blackout. We smartly calculate your average power demand so you don't spend more than you need to. Call 223-2233 for more information.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brickdam and White Castle Fish Shop, be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lenders, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lenders Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Give your home or office some shine. Fortune Investment Company. We provide reliable commercial and residential professional cleaning services in Guyana. We clean homes and commercial offices. Other services offered are floor care and tile polishing, interior auto detailing services, power washing, weeding and cleaning, and carpet, couch, and mattress cleaning. We are committed to keeping your homes and offices squeaky clean. Call us now at 592-689-7558 or 592-639-6365 or visit us at 3430 Jackson North Rumville, Georgetown, Guyana. Fortune Investment Company. When we say clean, we mean spotless.
It's Claire's Mash Sale, where you get 25 to 50% off jeans, jerseys, short pants, crop tops, sneakers, slippers for both men and women, and a whole lot more. MASH is back, and our MASH sale is bigger than ever at Claire's on Wednesday, February 22nd. Claire's, always keeping you in style.
Welcome back. Now let's take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world. Amnesty International has released a preliminary report on alleged human rights violations during weeks of protests in Peru. It accuses security forces of firing indiscriminately at demonstrators. Al Jazeera's Mariana Sanchez reports.
When Leonardo Anco was killed on December 15 near the airport in the city of Ayacucho in the Andes, his family says they have no doubt he'd been gunned down by the army, who'd opened fire on protesters that afternoon. Leonardo was among 10 people killed. The question for his wife, Ruth, is who was in command.
Who gave the order to kill and repress a peaceful march?
Amnesty International says most of the victims in more than 2 months of turmoil were killed by security forces who unlawfully fired lethal weapons and used other less lethal ones indiscriminately in their crackdown on protesters.
We are not only facing serious human rights violations, but crimes under international law. There's been widespread attacks against civilians, which implies individualised criminal responsibility, including those at the highest level who have allowed violations to continue.
A preliminary report says at least 48 people died by state repression and 80% were killed in indigenous populated areas, a show of contempt against indigenous Peruvians, it says.
Our rights have been violated because we are peasants. Dina Boluarte has said we are terrorists, vandals.
Human rights lawyers representing victims say, in addition, there's a pattern in the killings in different regions.
It could be that these are not individual cases, but political decisions turned into orders to the armed forces and police, and for that reason we can see an escalation in their actions and a denial of responsibility.
President Dina Boluarte met Amnesty representatives on Wednesday. She says the judiciary is investigating the cases and they're waiting for its findings. But Amnesty says they're worried because authorities have not guaranteed they will refrain from quelling future protests with excessive use of force. Mariana Sanchez, Al Jazeera, Lima.
Internationally, war and conflict in some African countries have displaced millions of people. Many have fled to refugee camps in neighboring Chad, but there they are finding little work and inadequate infrastructure to sustain. Al Jazeera's Mohammed Fall reports.
As if its own internal conflict and poverty weren't enough, Chad has for some years become a place of refuge to many fleeing wars in neighboring countries. Tribal clashes in Cameroon drove Fatima Hassan to this refugee camp in western Chad.
We can't go back to our village. We have seen many corpses there. Some of the people were killed in front of our eyes. We can't go back.
She isn't alone. There are about 100,000 Cameroonian refugees in Chad. Nearly 10,000 of them are here in the Kalabari camp. But Chad hosts dozens of similar camps with refugees from the Central African Republic, Darfur, Nigeria and elsewhere. And this is a part of a wider phenomenon across Central and Eastern Africa. Ongoing conflicts have created millions of refugees and displaced people in Somalia, Ethiopia, Kenya, Rwanda, Burundi, Eritrea, Sudan and the Democratic Republic of Congo. Last year, United Nations estimated the number of refugees and forcibly displaced persons in Africa had reached 36 million.
Si aujourd'hui il y a des déplacés ou réfugiés,
the reason behind these refugees and displaced people is well known, and it is mainly the lack of peace and coexistence. For Africa to go forward and to achieve progress, we must establish peace.
Here at the Kalabari, aid agencies are trying to help in different ways, including small agricultural projects where refugees can grow their own food. The camps provide temporary shelter, but they're struggling when it comes to other basic requirements. The refugees know they don't have a long-term future in Chad. For now, they say they feel thankful for the safety they're enjoying and can only hope for peace to prevail in their countries so they can return home. Mohammed Fal, Al Jazeera.
Politicians from around the world are meeting in Japan to discuss what they see as a growing threat from China. On the agenda are the growing concerns over Beijing's approach to Taiwan. Al Jazeera's Rob McBride reports.
From their bases in Taiwan, fighter jets take to the skies as part of an exercise in readiness for warplanes coming from mainland China. Incursions by China's Air Force doubled in 2022, with Beijing determined to unite with what it regards as a renegade breakaway province. For Taiwan's President Tsai Ing-wen, these threats are a reminder of why her government is keeping its distance from the mainland, as she restated in her Lunar New Year message.
The military is steadfast in holding their posts, defending our national security and our common homeland with all their might.
Her vice president, and the man widely expected to succeed her when Taiwan elects a new president in a year's time, holds similarly defiant views.
Facing the threat from China in the future, our new mission is to protect Taiwan, promote democracy, peace and prosperity.
In that quest, Taiwan can count on the might of its ally, the United States. A strike group led by the aircraft carrier Nimitz is the latest deployment to the disputed waters of the South and East China Seas and sailing through the sensitive Taiwan Strait, which China regards as a highly provocative act. Taiwan's increasing geopolitical importance, underpinned by its global high-tech business clout, has raised the stakes in this potential flashpoint. China's President Xi Jinping, having secured an unprecedented extension to his time in office, seems to have made unification with Taiwan his legacy mission.
Both sides of the Taiwan Strait belong to one China, which is a fact with clear historical evidence and legal basis. Taiwan has never been a state, nor will it become one.
Taiwan's very existence as a thriving, democratic, de facto state is an affront that China struggles to live with. Rob McBride, Al Jazeera.
This brings us to the end of our regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3-day weather forecast. This concludes today's Headline News Update. Tune in next Monday at 7 p.m. with our next broadcast. For more news and updates, you can visit our Facebook and YouTube pages. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other and do have a wonderful weekend.